Hi everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. I am going to show you one of the most powerful, I think it is the powerful, most absolute um, HFT-like, high frequency trading like metric out there, but let alone, this is the absolute number one reason why I trade cryptocurrency. So what this is related around is a YouTube video I put up on my channel on Quant Labs. This one right here, it's called "Is this the closest to high frequency trading HFT with I don't know, but it's kind of gone bonkers. But hey, that's okay.
Howdy everybody, Brian here from
Yeah, okay, shut
quantlabs.net.
myself up. Okay, so is this the closest to high frequency trading HFT with a crypto trading bot? I've also put up some follow-up videos, but this is the absolute number one thing you need to look out for. So this script I'm about to run, oops, that's one of my other bots. Oh well, you should get a sample of what it looks like. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is something called liquid BTC. This is actual orders put uh, on Binance. This is one of the most biggest trusted exchanges in the world. You can go into spoofing, you can go into quote stuffing, but what you can see here, this is right off the exchange, the confirmed execution, confirmed orders on Binance. And this is not quote stuffing. This is not uh, anything related around. This is the real executed orders. So what we have here is these are the number of buys. These are the number of sells. So you can use this for direction, market direction on what's going on as a snapshot in the exchange live with real orders confirmed. Now, when it comes to other exchanges like CME, whatever else out there that offer high frequency trading, this is the only asset classes of its kind, probably one of the only exchanges of this kind that enables you to get this data through the futures market on Binance and be able to get actual executed orders at a particular time frame. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and modified and enhanced the script. As I said, so you're getting, in this case, 18 real buys and 18 sells at that time that this script was run. On top of that, it will give you, I could get, and it's using 100 entries or rows that are given. So I'm able to get the average number of quantity that's bought, the average price that is bought at, and on top of that, on the sell side, I also get the same thing: average quantity and average price. I have, let me just run this again, so this is not smoke and mirrors. So I can use this to confirm in my bot what is going on in terms of what's really going on in the exchange. And as I said, this will factor out the bid and ask that most people will use and think that their genius is on. What you need to understand when it comes to buy and ask on an exchange, on a broker, forex, stock, whatever, that those are not real quotes. Those are just that, quotes. So you can get algorithms, you can get humans, you can get automated whatever that will put in quotes and asking for the price or making out as if it's going to place an order. But those does not mean that they are actually confirmed executed orders. Okay, so they could be doing something called spoofing. They could be doing something called what's the other one? I can't remember. But they can do this to throw off any trading algorithm out there that's following the price, in my case, Bitcoin against USDT or Tether, and they would think that it's going to throw off my bot and the performance on what I watch, in this case, BTC against Tether. So because of that, I now have the way to get actual confirmed orders on the exchange instead of just stuff that's just quoted and that may not be actual confirmed orders. That will throw off your bot performance. because if it's going to take a trade, it could throw off the trade itself and lose money. Really, really critical. I guarantee you, a lot of people out there will use a third-party service or some other exchange thinking that they're okay. Unless they are able to get confirmed orders right off the exchange that's actually executed and liquidated on the exchange, anything else is trash. Because when I say that, that means that you're going to have participants in that exchange doing exactly what I just said, to be able to say, I'm putting a quote out there for buying X amount of quantity on Bitcoin or selling on the number of Bitcoin, but yet I don't put the order through, and that's going to throw off your market. Market makers do this. A lot of illicit market participants do this. Whale traders do this, and they'll just put out a number of big orders to make people think that the price was about to move, and it doesn't. But yet they do that a couple of times to shake out the weak players, and then put an order in, and then they gain off the price because they know they're shaking off the competition that's watching that price. So when you want to watch only what's executed on the exchange, that's the real way to trade, because now you're taking out those kind of bid and ask quotes. So here, as I said, this is why I trade only on crypto right now. Okay, I'm only trading on crypto because some exchanges, I don't know all, I don't care, that offer this. And when you want to be able to get actual orders on the exchange, like let's say the CME, you would usually have to go and pay an exorbitant amount a month per month on the CME to get this kind of information of actually how much is being bought at what price and on what's the average quantity, so you can determine what is actually being bought or sold on the exchange, and you pay a lot of money for that. Also, a lot of the big players, the institutional players like the hedge funds and the HFT and the banks usually will pump these kind of orders through the through dark pools. So the dark pools will take out who's actually buying what, and that enables them to hide their orders on who's doing what. So with this type of scripting, I'm able to see if there's actual big orders in there, and I can see that here on average, 0.89%. That's almost a full Bitcoin. So there are people selling off Bitcoin right now, or I could see that on the buy side as well and be able to see what's determining. But what really matters is the number of buys and the number of sells that will determine the price at that time. So let me just run this again. So really important to be able to distinguish that, to put yourself a cut above the other, we'll call them amateurs on this, because now I can then, before I take a trade, I want to know how much is being bought and sold on the exchange before I take the trade. And it's not spoofed, it's not fake, it's real. And I can also use the same information on when I do put on a position. I know when to get out, because I'm able to determine on the number of buys and sells. And if I take on a buy or a long, and I see that the number of sales or the number of buys are dropping off and the sales are increasing, that's when I know to get out. And that's the first thing that I'll do to get out. Really important to know that, because I've been playing around with different metrics, different types of moving averages, different types of RSI and but this is exactly what you want without having to pay extra for it on Binance. And again, that's why I use this. So this will be part of my signaling service to make it 100% reliable now. That's that. So let me also talk about the oscillator. This is now going from a bot checking on basically on a minute by minute, or this is in real time, what's being executed. And reason I'm calling it an oscillator, which it really is, this will take out pretty well, even if Bitcoin, was telling somebody like this yesterday, is that even though most people will put on a position in, let's say Bitcoin, whatever. It doesn't matter what you're buying, a forex pair or whatever. The thing is that you're going against probability. And from what I've been studying over the last 2 days, really, what's really important to factor in is you put on a position. You want to make sure it's going to go up, and this will help determine and confirm if the market is actually going up because you have an exorbitant amount of buys versus the sells. So that's one way to protect your trade. On top of that, usually most people hang on to a trade too long. And I've got now new metrics in place that I can use to show pretty well any form of weakness on a price on an open position. Okay, so that's really important. So most people will hang on to a trade, even though if the price and the position showing some sort of weakness, most people still hang on to that position, especially if you're human based, because they're just watching charts. They don't see this on the tick level, which this is. They will probably lose, and they'll not get the maximum profit they can get. So because you're looking out for the first sign of weakness on a price, you just get out of dodge on that. You close the position and you exit. Because then people will say, well, what happens if the position goes up even further? That's true, but on your next trade, you're watching for that next leg up. Because you're doing this on a tick level, you can operate that way, and it doesn't matter what direction it is and other metrics that will impact you. You're only watching Bitcoin in this case. Now, I've talked about Bitcoin and other coins. I'll just say this: Bitcoin's the biggest. It's the most traded on Binance. It's, I think, on average about 3 billion a day. Pretty hard to manipulate, and you really can't manipulate what you put an actual real order on. Now that I can see it, now that I can choose to see if I want to trade it. So that's really important to know that. I've also looked at other coins like Ethereum. I've looked at other coins like Bitcoin Cash is now doing well, and other coins like Tezos, which has done quite well, Chainlink, and Litecoin. So the big four that I've traditionally watched is Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum because of their volume. But now what's been happening when the markets have gone flat among those four, you get two other coins that can sometimes be bigger trades by volume over a 24-hour period, bigger than Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin as well. So those two coins, Tezos and Chainlink, are going to be important to watch moving forward and have been. But you also have to be on the lookout for other coins that are coming about in the near term, in a couple of months, that will start to outperform the big four. And then over time, I'm sure, and I've seen it many times with other coins, that Tezos and Chainlink may drop off in volume, and those other smaller altcoins will come in to replace those coins. So I'm able to watch those. But right now, I'm just building this oscillator only for Bitcoin because, I mean, let's face it, Bitcoin's the big kahuna in all this, and that's what I watch. So this is an oscillator. Right now, I'm only interested in watching on Binance, only on Bitcoin. I might build a second one for Ethereum because those are consistently the big ones. And I only say that because doing this type of trading and doing this type of watching on Binance, they do limit you on the number of requests you can put out. They're very, very generous on it, but you don't want to kind of overstep those boundaries when you're watching other coins. So for now, for sure, I'm going to do this with Bitcoin. Most likely I'll add the second one on Ethereum, and these are two oscillators I'm watching, regardless of direction they go, regardless of direction of the overall market, because now it doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes up and it hits a certain metric, it'll put on a position. If it does well, and it starts to show signs of weakness after that position, as I said, it gets out. So I'm hoping that this will be hopefully a lot more profitable, but only trading on Bitcoin and Ethereum. The other reason why I like trading right now on Bitcoin is because with Bitcoin, you can still trade in the spot market with 0.001 Bitcoin as a minimum quantity. It used to be 0.01. So now I just put a third zero in there. That minimizes your Bitcoin minimum order, where it used to be around $5 or $10 down to about $1. So when you're testing this out, you can put in minimum bets, especially because they're going to be tiny. And if you know that that bot, in this case, this one, the strategy does work, I can scale up those position sizes. Same said for Ethereum as well. So I'm going to test this, and I just want to show you that this is a really, really important metric to be able to capture what is being actually traded on the exchange in real, not spoofed or whatever, or fake out, whatever you want to call it. So that's that. If you want to know more, go to quantlabs.net, get the free books, the PDFs, and get on the DVD. Because if this turns out, you're going to start to see all my prices go up. Over and out. Don't ask me about technical as well, because I ain't going to tell you how it's done. And this data also comes out of Binance Futures, as I hinted as well. Later.